Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 1756 to 1791. One of the most amazing child prodigies in history, was born in Salzburg, Austria. By the time he was 6, he could play the harpsichord and violin, improvise fugues, write minuets, and read music perfectly at first sight. At the age of 8, he wrote a symphony, at 11 an oratorio, at 12 an opera. Mozart's father, Leopold, a court musician, was eager to show him off. Between the ages of 6 and 15, Mozart was continually on tour. He played for Empress Maria Theresa of Vienna, Louis XV of Versailles, and George III in London, and innumerable aristocrats along the way. On his trips to Italy, he was able to master the current operatic style, and he later put it to superb use. When he was 15, Mozart returned to Salzburg, which was ruled by a new Prince Archbishop. The Archbishop was a tyrant who did not appreciate Mozart's music and refused to grant him a more than a subordinate seat in the court orchestra. With his father's help, Mozart tried repeatedly over the next decades to find suitable position elsewhere, but with no success. When he was 25, Mozart could stand it no longer. He broke free of the provincial Salzburg and traveled to Vienna, intending to be a freelance musician. Indeed, Mozart's first years in Vienna were successful. His German opera, The Abduction from Sarajevo, 1782, was acclaimed. Concerts of his own music were attended by the emperor and the nobility. In 1786 came Mozart's opera, The Marriage of Figaro. Vienna loved it, and Prague was even more enthusiastic. They talk about nothing but Figaro, Mozart joyfully wrote. The success led to an opera company in Prague to commission Don Giovanni the following year. Although Don Giovanni was a triumph in Prague, its dark qualities and dissonance did not appeal to the Viennese, and Mozart's popularity in Vienna began to decline. During his last year, Mozart was more successful. He received a commission for a German comic opera, The Magic Flute, and while working on it, was visited by a stranger who carried an anonymous letter commissioning a requiem. And a requiem is a mass for the dead. As Mozart's health grew worse, he came to believe that the requiem was for himself and rushed to finish it well on his deathbed. We're going to listen to an excerpt from an opera, Don Giovanni, 1787. Don Giovanni, also known as Don Juan, is a unique blend of comic and serious opera, combining seduction and slapstick with violence and the supernatural. The old tale of Don Juan, the legendary Spanish lover, had attracted many playwrights and composers before Mozart. Mozart's Don Giovanni is a seductive but ruthless nobleman who will stop at nothing to satisfy his sexual appetite. Don Giovanni's comic servant, Leporello, is a grumbling accomplice who dreams of being in his master's place. The overture, not in the video, leads directly into the opening scene. In the opening scene, we witness Leporello keeping guard, Don Giovanni struggling with Donna Anna, and the commandant dueling with Don. Mozart's music vividly depicts the characters and pushes the action forward. So, listen for music characterizing each of the phrases. In the video, there's a translation to English, so that will help you understand what's going on. It's not the exact same translation as in the book, but it is basically the same content. So I want you to listen to the music, how it characterizes each phrase of the action. Leporello's comic complaints, Anna's struggle with Giovanni, and the commandant's duel and the tragic death. Notice the upward string sweeps in the dueling music, the dissonant held chord in Giovanni's fatal sword thrust, and the slow tempo and minor key as the commandant dies.